This classroom is not just whole world classroom. When I talk about classroom that is life. You need to transform you. I need to transform me and change so I can help to transform your students. And they are messengers. They go home and tell the parents, my gosh, Mrs. Silvero just did a stone soup. They go, ¿qué están hablando? ¿Hacer la sopa con piedra? Are you talking? How can you make a soup with a stone? Then there is some inquiry and questioning and wondering takes place. Okay. So how do we transform? I start with me, as I said in yesterday's speech. So my name is again So-young Lee Segredo. I was born in South Korea. And I'm married to my husband who's Cuban with a Portuguese last name. And Segredo means segredo in Italian and Spanish. And because it's Portuguese, nasal sound, Silvero. So in here, classroom means life classroom. So everybody, let's put the thumb. If we don't have a thumb, you don't have a strength. So it starts with me. Then you, okay, then us. So what do I do, what you do, what we do? Okay, so we are here, you know a little bit about multiple intelligences. So I was going to Bank Street. I went to Queens College for BA, Bank Street for MA, and extension for bilingual LOTE and ENL certification from St. John's, and the technology math connection certification from SUNY Old Westbury. I met Howard Gardner in Museum of Natural History, and among 800 attendees, I raised my hand high, and I was with anticipation, I'm going to get a great answer, and I was excited that I'm going to admire him even more because I admire him out the door. He says when I asked, how can you help teachers to apply multiple intelligence in our classrooms? He says, well, I'm the writer. I'm the philosopher. That's your responsibility. I got so disappointed, went home and say, why did I write the thesis about him? He's so... Later on, I thought about it, and he was right. It starts with me. Part of the kinesthetic intelligence. During the New York State test, I don't talk. They get 5-minute break. I go like this. They all stand up, and we do Tai Chi. Why? Because they've been so fixated, you and I have been so fixated with the computer and looking down. They said that our eyes need exercise. So that helps them to look up, and their eyes are going all around while we're doing Tai Chi. So they get fresher visual focus, and your fingers and the body has been stuck in there. So you're doing that. This is kinetic intelligence. But if you don't in the classroom help the children to get up and move around, sit down, you're not moving, okay? So how can they have that cues and things? Verbal linguistic. These are the children who's writing pen pal with Israel. I did pen pal during COVID with Mongolia and Brazil and Uganda. I have connections with all of the countries. If you need connections, write to me. I'll give you my email address, telephone number to my nonprofit organization. Use me so we can transform our world quality education system. That's right. So we're doing a pen pal with Israel, and some of the students are newcomers. So they researched about Israel in Spanish, and they found out and they put a few things in there. That's my humble classroom, and there was teachers who were always learning, and then they did put down Teach Up. The book is called Teach Up, and then they did extract what they were learning. Verbal 2, linguistics. Yeah, these are the third graders who's writing, and there's a newsletter we're going to be putting in the envelope and send it out. Okay, musical intelligence. There's a guitar and there's all of the instruments. If you were here, my 32-member choir presented it on Thursday, 6 different languages. This is very important to share because one of the teachers says, don't take my child out. She's 2-3 degrees below grade level. No, cannot afford to go to music class during the lunch. I'm serving children during the lunch. No, during the lunch she has to do IREM. But our limited school hour, we have to do technology, math and science and ELA, and also we have to do SEL. What is most important part of it here? SEL. So I have a few students, their teachers said, okay, I take your word for it, and gave me 3 students. They were most misbehaved students in their classrooms, and teachers were pulling their hair. And now they say, Miss Rivera, can I be your leader? You see how arts connected to that child? Because maybe he's misbehaving or she's misbehaving because they don't understand. We keep on repeating verbally, okay? But here it is, musically, they're learning orders. They know how to bow from Korean way, so they're learning culture. And they have maracas, they have sombreros. Interpersonal, the ability to understand and interact effectively with others. So it's very important we have among our scholars in our classroom, very intelligent, but they like to usually work alone. We need to turn that around. Body them up. Can you help so-and-so's newcomers? Can you explain to him something so they become translator? Can you right now become the timekeeper? Can you become a scribe? Right? Intrapersonal. Intelligence involves self-understanding. Do you know Einstein was asked to be a president of Israel and he turned it down? Because I think he's absolutely right. He walks around without socks and shoes. His hair is all the way here. He says, I will not able to represent Israel well in foreign countries. He's self-reflective. So we understand. Psychologist, the philosopher, writer, theologian, and the career counselor, consultant, and criminologist. Naturalist. My son, Daniel, who's now over 30, he's going to be 31 soon. He just keep on walking around, always looking on the streets, and then we think that, come on, pay attention, where you going? He finds gold. And he found the gold earring, and he turned it around, made it into G-clap music, and then I wear it. He finds money, he finds rare rocks. We needed to sometimes stop and observe our scholars so they can able to come alive. And that's our power. We have the power to do that for them. This is the important thing. So I'm going to ask a principal. Please read that for us. I'm making your work. Thank you.
Sensitivity and capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence, such as meaning of life, why we die, and how did we get here.
1993, American psychologist Howard Gardner published a book with a theory that there are 9 types of intelligence. To understand this theory, let's consider the problem of the Council of Newtown, who wants to build a bridge over the dangerous railroad tracks. But there is strong opposition from some citizens who don't like change. Despite the demonstrations, the council agrees to go ahead and then hires a team of 9 experts from Smarts & Co. to get the job done. Let's introduce each one of them. Miss Picture Smart played a lot of hide and seek when she was young, and she loved puzzles. She has lots of imagination and ideas about shapes. Her job in the project is to create the plans, make the designs, and build a prototype. Mr. Nature Smart loves trees, and he has great ideas of how to minimize the impact of a bridge on the environment. He started thinking of these issues ever since the first time he went summer camping with Dad. He developed a passion for all living beings. Mrs. Number Smart is a nerd. She always was. In the playground, she was already calculating the sand buckets needed to build the biggest castle. In high school, she was the chess master and everyone was so proud of her. She will calculate the costs, study workers' safety issues, and estimate the raw materials needed. Her concerns are the budget, resources, and risks. Mrs. People Smart arranges a town meeting and goes out to invite all the citizens to come. She was always good with people. As a kid, she spent most of the time outside with her neighbors. As a teenager, her mom explained to her that most people mean well, even if they have trouble showing their feelings. Today, everyone loves her, and she does a great job convincing everyone, even the most outspoken opponents. Miss Word Smart has been keeping a diary since she was young. In maths class, she wrote poems, and during field trips, she didn't talk to others, but instead studied the travel guide. For the big town hall meeting, she writes a convincing speech filled with hard facts, big feelings, and good metaphors. Ever since he was young, Jimmy LifeSmart knew how to talk and entertain. Today, he shows his skills on the stage. He starts his speech with a personal story about his cat that once got lost on the train tracks. Then he delivers all the arguments with so much passion that all citizens can only agree with the plan. Miss WordSmart is delighted to see the impact of her work. Now, as construction starts, Mr. Body Smart gets ready to get things done. Even the children are inspired by his power and want to help. During the breaks, he plays football with his team, which is fun and teaches him balance skills he later can use high up in the sky. Madam Self-Smart knows a lot about feelings, our fears, joys, and angers. She learned this from her own past where she started to reflect on herself, but she also reads a lot about feelings and talks to her friends about their emotions. During the construction, she is the positive force, motivates those that feel down, and solves tensions that can come up when we collaborate. While everyone is busy finishing the bridge, Mrs. Music Smart writes a song for the grand opening. She has loved music ever since she started playing the piano. Later, she moved on to hip-hop and jazz dance. At the opening ceremony of the bridge, she and her band performed the song. It was a fantastic team effort from all 9 of the Smart & Co. In 2016, Gardner said that he is considering adding pedagogical intelligence, or Teach Smart. What do you think? Is he right or wrong about these types? Or are IQ, EQ, or other forms of intelligence better classifications? Please be Teach Smart and tell us what you think about intelligence theory in the comments below.
So entry points. This is one of the interesting educational ideas that I and others have come up with, and that is that if you decide that something is important, you can approach it in lots of different ways. And that allows us to be able to draw on the different intelligences. So this comes from my colleague, Rhonda Bondi, and she has an exercise which she does with fifth graders where they learn about different explorers. Brought along some slides of explorers. I don't know who they are, but people like, they have to learn about Christopher Columbus, about Ponce de Leon, about Hernando Cortez. They have a textbook and the teacher talks about it. And then what Rhonda does is she asks the kids to share what they've learned in different ways. They're supposed to tell a story about what they've learned, sing a song or create a song, act out a pivotal scene, a pivotal moment like when Cortez meets Montezuma, map out the course followed geographically, and then say, how would the explorer have drawn? What would he or she have done? I guess they were mostly men. What numbers are important to each? That's a very interesting. Could be the year, could be how old they were, could be how many soldiers they had. For Christopher Columbus, one answer is 3. Do you know why the 3? Because there were 3 ships. Recreate a time that you explored. That's about yourself. What did you do? Did the exploration work? So this is a very simple class that everybody learns about in social studies about exploration, but there are many, many ways, there are many intelligences which you can draw on, and that just complexifies your understanding.